Welcome back. In this lecture, we are going to take one particular piece of financial data, which is the unit sales, and we're going to dig into the details of how you get to that number. As we said last time, we need to make use of market research tools to get to this number. And so let's get to it by looking at this chart first. It's pretty much the similar graphic that you have seen before in the last lecture. And the idea here is to see how you get to this unit sales number while you're doing your financial analysis. And there are two paths that you should take to get to this number. Number one is called top-down market sizing, and the second is bottom-up market sizing. Basically, my view is that you always have to mix both. There may be some situations where you have to only rely on one method, but it's almost never the case that you cannot do something on the other side. So more or less try to do both the methods and try to combine the results, and so you have a better data set, more realistic information. And so how do these two look like? So in this picture, I'm showing you both the top-down. So on the market research-based sizing, you will approach it in a top-down, which you will look into in detail. And then out of that process, you will have units or a number of units every quarter. Again, all this analysis that I'm talking about, you have to do it quarter by quarter for 12 quarters. But the method is the same. So once you have data for one quarter, you can use the projections or pretty much apply the same method for every quarter. And then on top down is you are primarily looking at market research reports. There are third-party market research companies, IDC, whatever are the research companies that are prevalent in your segment of the industry. Their job is pretty much to round up the entire industry from a market growth projections point of view. They will talk to industry executives and they will tap into their own internal tools as to forecasting and projecting into the future market trends, and then they'll come up with a set of numbers saying in the next 2 to 3 years, everything is going to catch fire or some such projection like that. Well, it is what it is. There is a set of data that obviously these companies have done some research and put in some hard work, so you don't want to ignore that. So that's number one. And on the number two, on the other side, if you are in a company that has a set of customers already using your product, then the sizing of the future business for this new product will come from them. In other words, you will approach them, you will talk to them, and you will work with your sales, your operations, your product shipping and product booking, and what their customers' backlog is, and all this information you're going to pull together, and also in specific approach the customers and talk to them and solicit, expressly ask them what their business is looking like in the next 12 quarters from the time your product is launched. And so you will go through that exercise, and we will talk about that in a separate lecture. And what you will do is you're going to put these two pieces of data together, and what I call this as reconciling. It's not a technical term, but reconciling is simply you have these two pieces of data. They are supposed to be saying same thing, and so you want to make sure that you jibe them, and you want to somehow make a synthesized version of it, so to speak. And so on the first, so let's look at the top down. How does this top down process works? Basically, for the top down, you need three terms. Well, you need to understand three terms. More in specific to top down, there are only two terms that are specific to this top down. One is total available market, and the second term is serviceable addressable market. You're seeing this in the picture here. And the last one is SOM, which is share of market, which is it's simply a market share number, and you will use that anywhere, whether it is from your customer bottom up or top down through market research reports or any other method. And so to explain this top down TAM and SAM and SOM, I'm just going to simply use one or two examples to illustrate how you use this as a tool and what these terms mean in a realistic example. So let's look at one example. For example, let's say that I want to estimate the market size for this course that you're now taking, a course on product management. And let's say, how do I do that using the top-down methodology? So let's say that the market size, for this course is restricted to the Udemy, this Udemy market platform or education platform. And so the TAM, or the total available market, is all the users of Udemy. So because I'm now offering this course on Udemy platform, all the users of Udemy are my total available market. So for example, let's say that it is 1 million users. There's probably, I'm probably under counting it, but for ease of math, let's use the number 1 million users. And so that will be TAM. But we know, and I know, that only some portion of these 1 million users are interested in business, marketing, management, and even product management. And let's just say that that portion is about 30%. And so this becomes SAM, serviceable addressable market. So 30% of 1 million users is about 300,000 users. And so what SAM represents is there is this big world called TAM, total available market, but there is only a subset of this TAM, and that subset is called SAM, and that is where you can serve. That market is your serviceable, or that is the market that you can address with your product, this product management. If I made any other different course, then I would probably look at the SAM in a different way. It could be a different number. So TAM is 1 million users, SAM is 30%, we assumed 30% of it is 300,000 users. And so those two numbers. But let's also say that there are 3 other product management courses that are better or good or the same quality as mine. So that means I have 3 competitors in this space. And realistically, I'm going to say that within competing with the 3 other product management courses, I may perhaps get about 10% of the market share. That means of these 300,000 users who are interested in taking a product management course on the Udemy platform, consisting of 1 million users, so of these 300,000 users, maybe only 10% of them will likely buy my course. So that becomes 10% of 300,000 is 30,000 users. And so that will be my share of market. So what I'm saying is my market share I'm reasonably expecting based on my product quality and the product timing and the thoroughness of the presentation and the quality of presentation, what have you. All those are product features, right? I am expecting to get about 10% of the market share, which translates to 30,000 users. Now 30,000 users is 30,000 units in this case, right? So now we may reasonably expect that the whole thing might expand over time, right from TAM, SAM, and share of market. TAM, definitely we can expect to expand because we can expect reasonably that Udemy, the world of Udemy, will go from 1 million to, let's say, 15 million users in 12 quarters. And then within that, if I assume that same 30% of the proportion will be interested in any product, technical management, business type of courses, so 30% of the new 15 million, now my SAM is 4.5 million units. And now I may say that, look, so now we know that the TAM has expanded. That means the market has expanded from 1 million users to 15 million users in 12 quarters. And then my serviceable market has also expanded to 4.5 million users, so to speak. But now I may say, look, the world of Udemy is big, everybody knows about it, all the great instructors are coming in, and so my competition is more. Let's say instead of 5, there are 10 great instructors taking on this product management course, and then teaching them in a much better and equally good or impressive way that this course is. I'm teaching it. And so I'm going to realistically say that, look, I'm not going to get same 10% market share. My market share is going to come down to 5%. Now, if I say that, then 5% of the 4.5 million users, that is still 225,000 users, which is a growth of from 30,000 users at the beginning to when the max market expanded. So if you look at it, as I'm showing you in this graph, if you look at it as a growth of the market or the evolution of the market, evolution of my business market share, you will see that even though my share of market has gone down from 10% to 5%, in these 12 quarters, the actual number of users who may potentially and very likely that I can get to my side and have them sign up to my course has gone from 30,000 users to 225,000 users. So that is pretty much how the thinking goes when you do this top-down research. You start with a big universe called total available market, and then you look at what is more relevant to your product so that your sales, your marketing effort can be focused. And then within that, you always know that you're going to have competition, and so how much of the percentage you can expect by existing along with the competition. So that's kind of a example that goes. So why don't we do this? Let's take a very quick break. I want to give you some time to assimilate all that, and then we'll come back, and then I will talk about the bottom-up approach in the next lecture. Okay, see you then. Thanks.